you who's not a stylist, who's a friend, the intimacy, and you're there for that moment to embrace. You put your phone away. The focus is on the dress. The focus is on your celebration. The focus is the mood, the vibe, the energy.
It's hard to put the phone away sometimes.
But you have to. When you're there for the bride, you need to be there for the bride, for somebody else.
And you're only there for a few minutes to be able, and you're there for a special purpose. You're not there just because I need your help. I need that support. So when I saw that, when I told her that on the podcast, she goes, I'm glad you didn't tell me, because if you had told me this, then we would stop talking to each other. Because she was so convinced of her friendship with her, and she was so, it was one-sided that she didn't recognize it.
She wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like she would have been upset.
Of course.
Yeah, because she said if anybody would have said something to me a month ago, I wouldn't have believed them. I was
that's why I said,
because that's how Scheana is. She's a ride or die.
Yeah.
She's
in it.
Yeah.
So that's why I told her, I said, I didn't want to ruin everything that you were building up for your wedding and everything that I knew that was happening for the celebration, because I wanted that. And your relationship with her is different. So I don't want to come in between you two and say, you know what? Oh, well, she's a real bitch. But don't bring her.
Yeah, but Pol said it best. He said that the way Scheana had her whole wedding set up was that she was there with her friends, her family, to celebrate
was not
this
for
intimate
TV.
moment, and the cameras were secondary.
Yes.
And I love how that was.
She did
really
did not produce her wedding for a TV show.
Right.
No.
She was doing the wedding for the beautiful moment that she wanted to have, because she had cameras before.
Yeah.
And she said it was intrusive.
Right.
And she wasn't able to really have the wedding that she could do because, don't stand there, don't do this.
Right.
I mean, when Patrik proposed to me on E-Television.
Right.
Yeah, when Patrik proposed to me on E-Television in Rodeo Drive, when they shut the whole thing down, right?
I got down on one knee, said my whole speech.
That happened on the Anna Nicole show?
No, it was on, what was it? New Money.
New Money. So
I have no idea what show that
it was
is.
a show we did
on
for E-Television.
So
God, how many shows have you done?
So this
so
is
many.
Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
He gets down on one knee, professes his love to me, gives me this huge diamond ring, right?
That one you're wearing?
Yes.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, production comes in and goes, Hold on, don't get up.
Everybody wait.
We need to get the camera angle from here because we want to get the ring.
Right. And then
so it's
like
it stops that. It's like awkward.
And we had all of our friends and my mother, my sister, they were alive at the time, and they all ran from the side of the building.
They were at Cartier hiding.
And they all ran from the side with balloons and champagne and everything, and I'm on my knee giving him the ring, and then all of a sudden producers stop it. Okay, everybody, go back to the other side of the building. We need to do this again.
But you see what I mean?
So when on the ring box, I'm like, oh my god.
So when Scheana did her wedding planning, it wasn't including.
Well, I heard they weren't even necessarily going to film it.
No.
I heard it was
no.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're agreeing with me.
That's
true. She didn't care.
And she didn't care. She just wanted to
The wedding wasn't.
Brock.
It wasn't like a storyline that was Bravo paying for it, and then they were gonna have her do it. She was getting married. Bravo
did not pay for it.
Bravo was coming along.
I will go on record to say that, just in case anyone's confused.
But she wanted because this was very important to her.
Yeah.
This was their families flew in from Australia. This was a commitment that it wasn't a fake thing.
Did you feel like a buzz? So when you saw this kiss, I mean, I guess nobody else really saw it. You didn't feel a buzz like producers, oh my God, look what we saw. Oh, shh. There wasn't that buzz in the air.
You know what? I feel like Pol, I went back and I talked to Pol and we talked about it. But honestly, we were there for Scheana and her wedding and Brock, and the number thing out of my mind on that day was not, okay, Tom was kissing Raquel. It was, we got to get Scheana fucking looking amazing in her wedding gown. Because in 2 hours, she's walking down the aisle.
I have anxiety, okay?
This didn't help, did it?
Well,
no.
Honey, we're in the midst of a Scandoval.
Well, because the anxiety.
I still don't understand that.
Listen, the anxiety comes from making a gown that, until it's on the red carpet or until it's down the runway, or it's until at that podium where it's your wedding. You're walking down that aisle, that moment when he sees you.
Right.
Because Brock dropped her off a couple of times for the fitting.
Yeah.
And we had to tell him to leave.
Yeah.
So that moment, I have anxiety. I'm like, because this is her vision.
So we talked about it
Yeah.
briefly. I explained to him. We kind of talked about it, but
I'm
then
like, whatever. I don't care. I need to get Scheana ready.
We need to get her ready. That was our focus, getting her ready to get her in her dress and making her look amazing. Which
And honestly, for the 4 days that I was there, the whole time,
yeah,
I couldn't really enjoy myself until she walked down the aisle.
it's true.
I just wonder if producers would have brought this up. Like, listen, this wasn't a guaranteed other season. This could have been the last season.
Everyone
ever
said it
for
was
this
going to be
show.
the last
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
So I wonder if producers are like,
I don't think
it's
Scheana
our
thought
integrity.
It was gonna, I think Scheana thought this was the last season.
I mean, I think, I told you, I don't know who I told, but I've said it on
You
air.
said it to me. Yeah.
I know for a fact they all got paid. I've said this on air 1,000 times. They've all
Yeah.
got paid basically nothing for this season except Lisa. Like, I know that from many, many people.
Yeah.
People, I know, I just know
Well,
things.
Lisa's always going to get paid.
Right. So I know they were told you better figure something out or this is the end. It
Right.
sucked the last
Yeah.
season 8 and 9.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if this phone didn't drop and Ariana didn't pick it up and see all this, if there wasn't another season, like, I wonder if producers were like, we have to protect the integrity of the show. We don't break the fourth wall. We don't put things out, whether we know them or not, or if they would have eventually
I don't think this has
exploded
anything
this.
to do with the phone. They were looking for
Yeah,
opportunities.
I think they would have brought this. I think
They would have
this would
figured
been
out
the
another way
bombshell.
to be
I think
able
if
to
the
do
phone
it.
didn't
You think
happen,
so?
Absolutely.
my feeling is if the phone didn't happen, this was going to be a bombshell reunion. That's what I think was going
You
to happen.
do.
I
yeah,
do.
it was
Yeah.
going to
being
happen.
from being at the wedding
Yes.
and seeing this kiss
Yes.
between Sandoval
Yep.
and Raquel.
Yep.
And you think producers definitely knew.
And
Yes.
held on to it.
Yes.
Yep. Here.
David, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they were looking for an opportunity.
Yep.
There was this
And you
wedding.
think they would have brought
I'll
it
tell
out
you.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you why
Reunion.
this wedding was
Yeah.
off the charts.
Tell me.
Everybody was so fucking hot,
Yeah.
sexy,
They were so hot.
scandalous. Every single person at the
Yes.
wedding, except for the family members, like the
Yeah.
mothers and like the more
Well,
mature.
what does that have to do with the meat of the
The
story? here?
energy of the whole place
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was party all day and night. It was cave parties, hide out in the corner,
Everybody
go
was
diving in
drinking
the pool,
and trash
go up
the
to the
whole
hotel
time.
room. It was just everything all day. 3
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing fittings with bottles of tequila shots in the girls' hands in the rooms.
Yeah.
Well, that part doesn't shock me, but you really think, no, I mean, that's amazing. But you really think that somehow at the reunion, this would have come out.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh
100%.
my God! Of course,
100%.
of course.
I do.
They all knew. The cast members didn't.
I was going to say, do you
Yeah.
think, you
No.
don't think
I don't think it was the cast. I think it was the producers
no,
that
the
knew
producers
and held it
knew.
behind.
But the cast members, there's no way the cast members would have known. And even if they did or had a hint of it or recall back things, it was going to be like the way we were. Because when you're in the midst of it, I don't think you're focused on something like that unless your radar is up and your guard is down and you're like, wait a
Right.
minute, that's a little awkward. Because if that's the case, I don't need to go to Ariana and tell her. There's a bunch of friends in their friend group
True.
that should have alerted Ariana saying,
Right.
oh, Sandoval's up to no good. Your other friend, Raquel, is, giving him a blowjob. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I do.
Yeah.
We don't have to be. We're outsiders. We don't have to go and say that. And as a matter of fact, if I had gone to Ariana or Patrik, and we're friends, if he had gone to Ariana and said that, she would have looked at us like, oh, what? You want to suck his dick too? That's why. You know what I mean? It seems awkward.
do.
It's not.
I just think
like
I
it's our
think again,
place.
it was at that moment we were there for Scheana and Brock.
Yeah.
That was our focus, 100%.
Right.
But when I saw
would yeah.
Raquel in the back, when everybody's celebrating downstairs intimately, and she's just texting away.
She's on the phone.